Welcome to West Green Loft Yarns podcast episode 9. My name is Vicky McIntosh and I am the creator and indie dyer behind West Green Loft Yarns, and I'd like to welcome you to my podcast in which I talk about my knitting, my dyeing, my sewing, my acquisitions and generally life in itself. Today is Sunday the 13th of October. It is Sunday morning. It is really drizzly here in West Green in West Sussex in England, but I've got lots of goodies to share with you, and I wanted to talk about Yarndale, what's been happening, my life, and yeah, just share I've done loads since my last podcast, so let's talk about some knitting. I hope you're all well. Like I said, it's been pretty manic since I last talked to you. I've been getting ready for Yarndale, and I wanted to say a huge thank you to all of you if you came to Yarndale. The weather was awful. There was a cycle race. It wasn't as busy as it has been in previous years, and I think that was down to the cycle race and maybe the weather. But it was my first time exhibiting, and I had lots and lots of time to talk to everybody that came to see me. So thank you. I've got some gifts that people gave me while I was there, which just blew me away. So thank you very, very much. And it was just lovely to see everybody that I know via Instagram, people that order from me. And I was really, really, really happy with how my booth looked. And it was a really, really good show. We stayed in a beautiful pub up there called the Maypole. And I'm really, really hoping that I get in next year and I can apply in January. So it was wonderful. I hope that when you were up there, you managed to buy lots and lots of lovely goodness. Yarny goodness. Oh my goodness, what am I talking about? I managed to spend £8. Literally, it was so busy, I didn't have time to walk around. And on the last day, on Sunday, I needed some new warping thread from Spin City, so I popped around there and got some of that, because I bought some warping thread when I went to the Southern Wool Show, which wasn't this year, it was last year, and it's just snapping. I've warped my loom, but under pressure it's just snapping. So anyway, let's get on with the podcast. I have got lots of finished objects to show you, which I am really, really excited about. In my last podcast, I think I actually had a look at it yesterday, which made me laugh because I just look like a newsreader. Literally, welcome to West Green Loft Yarns. This is Vicky McIntosh reporting. That's how I felt it was. But anyway, let's look at some of my finished objects. So when, on my last podcast, I had just got to the start of the colour work on my birch sweater by Marie Wallin, and I've actually finished it, and I'm really, really pleased with it. So my first FO is my birch sweater. It's long sleeves. I've got a few ends to tie in. It is, I worked to the pattern, i.e. as in gauge, the needle size. I used Best of Breeds, which was Marie Wallin's wool that she recommends. It's a really, really lovely knit. It's bottom up, which some people don't like, they like top down, but I like it because your travel project can be your sleeves. The only thing I would say, which isn't a criticism, but it was just a little bit of a worry for me, is that once I'd finished the colour work and I followed the instructions, I went up by a needle size, and this hasn't even been blocked yet, and when I say blocked, it's just going to have a gentle steaming. I don't know if you can see the change in needle. So that was the larger size, then you went to the smaller size. But when you started to when I started to decrease, I thought I'm not. This isn't going to decrease enough, and it's not going to fit me. There just seemed to be too many stitches to the amount of rows that I had to do for it to actually end up in a neckline. But trust me, follow the pattern and it actually works. I did a stretchy bind off for the neck because I actually finished the neck and then I couldn't get it over my head. I have got quite a large head. I struggle getting hats, but I'm really, really pleased with it. My only modification from the pattern was I did 2x2 rib because I just love that rib, and I did that round the neck. I did, it's actually come out too big. I did the extra large because I was worried, if you looked at my previous podcast, I was worried about sizing, whether it was going to be long enough. I followed the pattern. I didn't add any more length on it. I love it. But when I do my Bresse by Marie Wallin, I'm actually just going to do a large because it's very wide for me. And even though I have Kitchener stitched underneath, so that's the little hole I've just got to finish. But even though I've Kitchener stitched, when I tried it on the other day, some of them have come undone, which has annoyed me a little bit because obviously I tried it on with too much gusto. So it's finished. I love the neck on it. I absolutely love the neck. But just to repeat myself, if you can see, you go from a lot of stitches and then you decrease. Beautiful. Now I have got a lot of the contrast yarn left. I've put it in my stash. But if anybody is thinking of doing this, waste not, want not. If anybody's thinking of doing this and they'd like these contrast colours, so all they have to do is buy the main colours, let me know. And I will send you them. I don't want any money for them. They're in my stash. I'm not going to do anything with them. But I've still got quite a lot of it left. So just DM me on Instagram. I'm more than happy to do that. So that's the birch sweater. I've got a little basket here that I'm adding everything into as I show you. The next, it seems like I've done loads and loads of knitting, and I really haven't. Please don't think I have. It's just been 4 months since my last podcast, so it seems that I have, if that makes any sense at all. Anyway, my next finished object is my Wildwood shawl. And this is by Andrea Mowry. And if you came to Yarndale, you would have seen this on display. I was selling kits for it. I've got some of this yarn in stock. I'll write it down on the screen. It is Blush, Mr. Bingley and Vintage Jeans. It is a beautiful, beautiful knit. Just folded it in half so you can see it. It's feather and fan. It is so lovely to wear round your shoulders. It's quite big. It's quite a nice size. And I love wearing them like this. I feel like I'm on something from Little House on the Prairie. And it was cold at Yarndale, so I needed this. I was wearing this in my birds of a feather. But it is a really, really lovely knit. And I was saying to people, I'd never ever find a shawl that I want to knit again, but I would definitely knit this again. I absolutely loved knitting it. You've got short rows. I knitted it to gauge. When I say gauge, as per the pattern. So you've got short rows, but the pattern is beautifully presented. I'm really funny about how patterns are presented. If it looks all too complicated, it turns me off. It literally, no, but Andrea's patterns are beautiful. So that's the Wildwood shawl. That's it folded in half. And I'm really, really happy with that. I don't think there's anything else to say. I mentioned it in my previous podcast. You need to have over 400 meters on your skein. So a sock skein is perfect. But it's such a lovely, lovely knit. And it's something that I wear all the time. I really, really like it. In fact, I might put it on now because I've got the window open because I keep going hot and cold. So yeah, I love it. I really love it. I've had a lot of questions about my apron I'm wearing. I was watching Gaynor the other day on her Vlogtober, and she wears aprons, and I'm always wearing aprons around the house. I'm just that sort of person. I love it. And this one it's a linen one, and it's from Dalesford Farm. I went to a country bouquante there and bought it. So yeah, so that's 2 finished objects, and I'm really pleased with those. Another finished object. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, and I have to say I am a real Instagram user, and because Facebook and Instagram are linked, if I put it on Instagram it comes on Facebook. But if you I really love Instagram. I use it every day. You may have noticed. But I was making a shawl out of Suri alpaca, blush pink, and blush pink merino cashmere nylon, and I was going to be doing the Ziggy shawl by Hohi Locatelli. But there's something about, some people don't like mohair, and Suri alpaca is the alternative to mohair, but I just couldn't get on with it. I literally the feeling was like compacted cotton wool. I don't know, it's just something that I didn't get on with. Anyway, to cut a long story sideways, I undid it, but I didn't want to waste that yarn, and Hohi Locatelli brought out the Storm shawl. So I thought, do you know what, I'm going to knit it because it's a 1 skein shawl, but I only had 80 grams left of the blush pink after I tried to unpick Suri alpaca. Not recommended. So my next finished object is the Storm shawl by Hohi Locatelli. It's got a beautiful edging, and I wanted to knit it as a sample. I don't think I'll wear it because I'm one of those people that I like a really, really big shawl. I don't really like a little shawl. But obviously, because I only had 80 grams, it should have, so where you've got these drop stitches, it should have another section of garter and this eyelet row before that border. So it does come out quite big if you're using a 1 skein, but for me, I just wanted to show, it's a really quick knit. I was watching loads of people and they were finishing it in like a weekend. These look really, 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 really big when you're knitting them, but when you block them, they actually settle down and they're really, really lovely. So that's my other finished object, the Storm shawl by Hohi Locatelli. So if you've got any single skeins there, I think they would make really nice Christmas presents. Oh my gosh, I actually mentioned the C word. But yeah, I think they would look really lovely, and it's a really lovely quick knit. Really, really pleased with that. I think it'd be a really nice knit for a beginner. The yarn overs, because without discussing anything in the pattern, you know, they were quite tricky actually. I thought they'd be quite easy. They were quite tricky. So maybe not for a beginner. Anyway, Storm shawl. That goes in my sample. And then, because I haven't really got enough time to do a lot of knitting because of work, and my sister, and again, if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen me wearing this the other day, knitted me this beautiful Tecumseh. by Caithlin Hunter. And I wanted, my sister's knitted 2 and I wanted one, and it's double knitting. She's a really quick knitter, my sister, but I wanted something that I could throw it on with my jeans, and I actually took this for an outing this week. In fact, I've worn it twice this week. With my jeans, I've got like these brown short boots, and I absolutely loved it. It's really, I love these necks. I think it's because I've got broad shoulders. I like to have like a boat line neckline. She did it to pattern, so she did it, followed the pattern. She didn't make any modifications. The sleeves are a tiny bit short for me, but I think my sister knitted it because my sister doesn't like really long sleeves, but I maybe would have done an extra inch, but it's not really worth unpicking. Colourway is in Wiggly yarns, West Green Loft in my yarns. The top is Miss Elizabeth Bennet, the light blue is Mr. Bingley, and the main colour is Vintage Jeans. And it's just such a beautiful jumper. I can't comment about the knitting because my sister knitted it, but the fact that it's her 3rd one tells me that she really enjoyed knitting it. And yeah, if you're looking for a jumper, if anybody wants kits for this, I will be releasing my sweater quantity option listing in my shop on tomorrow or Tuesday, which is the 14th and the 15th of October. I've had quite a lot of work to clear. So how the sweater option works in the shop is you have to order a minimum of 3 of each colour. And the reason for that is because of the way I dye. With colours like Miss Elizabeth Bennet, they're dyed in pans of 4. Solids are dyed in quantities of 3. So it's mainly for sweater quantities. It's not an option for you to buy the wool for that sweater. I really hope that makes sense. Because if you need 1 skein of Elizabeth Bennet, for instance, I can't just dye 1 skein of Elizabeth Bennet. The colour saturation wouldn't be right and everything. So it's more for your main colours, and then you choose, if you just need a skein for contrast, you would just get that from the shop as a listing. I really hope that makes sense. So yeah, so this is the Tecumseh, and if you wanted to order kits for that, then you can either email me via the shop or DM me on Instagram. That's not a problem, or order via the listing. I might even put a kit option. That might actually be easier. I might actually put a kit option in the shop. So yeah, the other thing that I had, I really hate it when I say that, the other sweater weather, love that saying, how we call them jumpers, and in the States, in Canada, they call them sweaters, is I really wanted a Love Note jumper, and I just haven't had the time to do any knitting. I haven't done, it seems like I've done a lot, but literally I literally haven't. I've got my work in progress, which I'll show you in a moment, and it has taken me ages. But I wanted a Love Note sweater, and there was a lady who is what a small world. She ordered from me some yarn from my shop, and I realised it was Jeanette, who I used to do CrossFit with. I never knew she was a knitter. Anyway, I'll put her details down here, her Instagram handle. Please check her out on Instagram. She's a designer. She is the fastest knitter I have ever seen. She is just amazing. And I asked her if she would do a sample knit for me, and she said yes, she'd love to. So she knitted me this beautiful Love Note sweater. Hello, sorry about that. I had to stop recording because my camera ran out, and the lighting might look a bit different now because I've turned the top light off. I've just gone up and looked at what I've recorded so far, and I have like a peach glow about me. So hopefully this will be a bit better. So we were talking about the love note, and Jeanette had made it for me, and I took it to Yarndale, and it is in the Nougat colourway, 1 strand of Nougat and 1 strand of mohair. It is the cropped version. I was a little bit worried it was going to make me look a bit busty, but actually I was really pleased with it. I had this image in my head of how I wanted it to look, and I with a long white shirt, but it actually looked better with this top I've got on now. So that's the love note, really, and thank you, Jeanette. It's just beautiful and it's in my wardrobe. So let's talk about work in progress. The only work in progress I've got is in this bag, which is from Bed of Roses. It's got my Powered by Plants badge, which I have some in my shop, but I actually import them from America, so I'm hoping to get some more of those. So my current work in progress is my Ingalls sweater by Caithlin Hunter, and I'm doing it in Miss Bingley colourway and Driftwood. And when I took this out the other day round my daughter's house, my granddaughter said, "Oh Gamma, that is so lovely." And she's 3.5, bless her. So I said, well, I really love it as well. I'm on the first sleeve, and I'm actually trying to modify the sleeve on the pattern because it's a bit too balloony round the wrist for me. But to be honest, I'm thinking of ripping it back to the top. Can you see? It's quite wide, and making it a bit more slender. I might actually do the sleeve from either the Confetti pattern by Vera, can't remember her surname, or I might actually do the Sunset Highway sleeves. But either way, I want to get this finished. It is my only work in progress. I'm just going to put it on the floor because I've pulled it out of the bag and all the balls of wool have gone everywhere. So today, I digress, but I just wanted to get my podcast done because it's been so long. But I'm later in the evening, I'm going over to babysit for my grandchildren. I've got yarn soaking in the bath because I'm finishing off the Christmas Advent. I've got Advent socks, and I've got the additional skein to dye up tomorrow. Let's talk a bit about that. Advent has been crazy. I like to think I'm a multitasker, but to be honest, with Yarndale in front of me, I couldn't even, with my Advents, I haven't just dyed lots and lots of colours. I've dyed them, I've had a look at them, I've thought of the next colour. And this week, hopefully, I'm going to get them all boxed up. Then I can start on colours for Christmas. Please don't judge me, it's my favourite time of the year. I get very excited. And I haven't had time to do any Halloween colours. I think I'm just going to pass on that this year. I've run out of time. My next shop update is the end of October. It's on my website. I've got to restock my shop. I need to do some more autumn colourways. I've got some of my autumn colourways here. I've got to show you this combination because the fabulous ladies from Barcelona Knits came to see me at the booth. I didn't actually know they were the ladies from Barcelona Knits until they purchased some of my yarn and then was telling me about their fabulous festival. And one of the ladies bought this combination. And doesn't it look stunning? Now, as an indie dyer, I look at colours all the time, but I had never put this colour together. That's blush, antique gold and pecan. And antique gold is a colour that I have been trying to get the right mustard colour, and I finally got it. I'm really happy with it. So those three are staying with me, and I'm actually thinking of doing Tracy from the Grocery Girls, her Beach Days wrap. It's Feather and Fan, my favourite pattern that I love doing. And I just think those three look lovely. Or I'll put the pattern down, I'll write the pattern down here, and it's by This Bird's Knits, and it's a short sleeved sweater in the same, I can't remember the name, I'm going to put it down here now, and I'm thinking I might use this combo. These are on Blueface Leicester, but I've got the pecan in Blueface Leicester as well. And if I've got time, because I'm going to edit this podcast when I'm babysitting tonight for my grandchildren, I'll pop the picture of this short sleeve sweater I'm talking about. I love it. So I don't have any other work in progress. I need to find a work in progress. My next pattern that I'm looking at doing is this beauty, Mabel's Sister by Fiona Alice. The colour is stunning, but it's the style, so gorgeous. It's by Viola Emily, the wool's Viola Emily, but I'm just going to dye up my own colours. Look at that. These patterns, there's just the shape of it, and I think it's knitted. I think it's knitted in one piece. I'm not sure. It's top down. So that's going to be my next project. Mabel's Sister. Absolutely love that. Love it, love it. And I love the other colour. They used Eden Cottage yarns, Victoria's. And I have this combo of dark and light. Oh my goodness. Love that. Love, 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 love. So that's something that I want to cast on. I'm just not sure when, because like I say, life's gone a bit crazy. I'm really excited to say that my yarn is being stocked in 2 shops now. One is the Yarn Cafe, which is an online shop, and the other one is Beautiful Knitters in Morton Street in London. And I have been busy doing wholesale orders. I've been doing sock club, and it's just been wonderfully, wonderfully busy. But as a one-woman person and getting ready for Yarndale, it's just been totally mad, totally crazy. And I'm a very methodical person. I work in a very methodical way, and I have been, I wouldn't say stressed. It's just been my focus. Well, my focus at the moment is Advent, and I'm rambling on, and I don't know why I'm doing that. But anyway, let's get back to Yarndale, because while I was at Yarndale, and actually, let's talk about acquisitions, because it's the same sort of thing. When I was at Yarndale, I got given some beautiful, beautiful gifts that I wanted to share with you. Now, many years ago, at the first Yarndale my sister and I went to, we met the wonderful Tracy Priestley. And Tracy runs a company called Handmade over yonder, where she makes these beautiful mill mice. I'll put her details here. Check her out on Instagram. And we've become very, very good friends. And she's about to embark on a wonderful, wonderful new part of her life journey. She's moving. And we met her on the night before Yarndale. And she gave us, my sister and I, some gifts. And look what she gave of me. It's a beautiful hair. I cannot tell you the detail that Tracy goes into. Even the stripes on the legs match up. And I've called her Hetty, and she's going to be sitting in my craft room. I love her, Tracy. She's absolutely beautiful. The attention to detail, the quality of Tracy's work is just amazing. And she came in her own bag, which I can't find. And not only did Tracy give me Hetty with her lovely bag, she also gave me a sock set, and she knows how I like muted colours. It's actually looking a bit darker on the screen than it actually is. But it's very autumnal, and it's a non-superwash, and I'm actually going to start stocking this base in the shop. I'm waiting for it to be delivered, and it's 100% Corriedale with a lovely mini in the same, and because it's high twist it's wonderful. But look at the detail of her labels. It's all naturally hand dyed in Skipton. Everything is eco printed and hand dyed. Tracy's background is as a graphic designer, so she designed all her own labels. Got all the ingredients on the back. Wasn't that lovely? I'm blown away by it, so I'm going to be casting those on as my next pair of socks. I'm really, really excited about those. So Tracy, thank you so, so much. You know how much I appreciated. I absolutely love them, and Hetty's going to now have a little place in this craft room. I haven't been able to put her away because I've got a basket full of stuff that I wanted to share with you. In addition to that, while I was up there, Helen, also known as Flora Honeypot, gave me a Flora hug, and I'm going to pop all the details, and it's a little, isn't that clever? It's a little brooch, it's a little sheep, and she asked me to pick it out of her bag, and I just thought that was so thoughtful. That's taken a lot of work, and I love it. Helen, thank you so much. That is definitely going to be in my craft room as well. And then Leslie from Duckpool Lane, she's got an Etsy shop, gifted me this beautiful, beautiful bag. She's from Duckpool Lane. It is massive, absolutely massive, and perfect for my next project. So Leslie, thank you so, so much. You don't know how much that meant to me. Scrunch it up and check out her Etsy shop, because she's just done some beautiful bags with Scrabble on them, and that was so kind, do you know what I mean? And thank you, I really, really appreciate that. That will definitely be used, so thank you. What else did I get at Yarndale? Oh, now, I have to, excuse the crunchiness, I have to show you Caithlin from Triskelion Yarn, who is the most amazing dyer, and I love him to bits, has started going into the soap making and hand balm business. And I purchased this from him. It's rose and sandalwood. It's absolutely beautiful. So all my knits that I'm going to be doing and finishing and need blocking, so my birch sweater I'm going to be washing in this. It's all handmade in the Triskelion studio. So talented, and there was he actually said a lot of his colours sold out that he didn't think was going to sell out, and the ones that he thought were going to sell out, he came home with some. But he's also going to be doing hand balms, and I'm actually going to be stocking some of these soaps and some of the hand balms in the shop, because the quality is amazing. Once Caithlin's up and running, I will be placing an order. I don't stock Love and Lesh anymore, my hand lotion bars, because I had to get them in from the States, and the customs duty on them was incredible. And to be honest, I want to support local small business. I want to support people like Caithlin, Duckpool Lane, Flora Honeypot. I want to, and I do support other dyers and other small businesses, because I think it's really, really important. And British, you know, British shops. As I said, at Yarndale, I only spent £8, but there was one store there that I visited, and I saw the yarn, and I've since actually bought some online because it was the most amazing self-striping yarn. And I have dabbled in self-striping yarn, and I'm going to have a dabble again in self-striping yarn. But this lady is called the Yarn Badger, and she's got a big following on Instagram, but her yarn, the self-striping, was all muted shades. So this one is called Brambles. It's one of her new ones, and look at those colours. Oh my goodness. I think I'm going to take those across and cast them on tonight as well. So that was Brambles, and then this one is Mountain Spruce. Oh, look at the depth of those colours. They are gorgeous. They are absolutely gorgeous. They are superwash merino sock, 400 meters. So I saw them at Yarndale. I didn't buy them, but I bought them this week, and they came with a lovely little badge with that little chappy on. Isn't he cute? Love him. Absolutely love him. So that was from the Yarn Badger. And I'm just having a look. I've got a table full of acquisitions because it's been so long since I did this. But I've also purchased from Beautiful Knitters, the lady who's now stocking my yarn. She literally, the day she opened, my sister and I went up there, and she hadn't even priced these up. I'm hoping you can see that. It's the Lane Knitting Notes book. So it's for all your projects. I haven't started using it because it's been in my podcast basket because I wanted to talk to you about it. But I got that from Beautiful Knitters, and Karen. So this is Beautiful Knitters. She's got a beautiful shop, and like I say, she started stocking my yarn with a beautiful illustration. And she gave me that with my purchases because we were her first customers, which was lovely. And not only did I buy that, I bought this beautiful project bag. It's hand printed linen. Oh my goodness, look at that. In fact, now Sandra Cherry Hart, we were talking, she put on her Instagram post about the process of when you choose your project, you choose your project bag, your matching stitch marker. And I think these two, especially this one, yes, that's going to live in there. That's going to be its home. You're going in there, Mountain Spruce. So this, I mean, you could use this for everything. It's got a beautiful leather handle, and I'm hoping I'm going to say this right. They're made in Lisbon, and it's mazurka. Beautiful. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about that. But I'm going to actually put that in there. So that is a beautiful project bag, which I couldn't leave the shop. I couldn't leave it behind. I just could not leave it behind. I've just realised I've got another finished object. Let me go and get it. Hello, I had to go back and get my other finished object because I was thinking about Beautiful Knitters, and when I went up there I saw a shawl up there that Karen had designed. So Karen, who is the owner of Beautiful Knitters, is the designer, oh, breathe out breath, behind the tiny tassels, which is a pattern that she brought out when she was working at Loop in London. But she's also designed this one, and I finished it this week, and to say that I love it is an understatement. And this is called the Pompidou shawl. So it's triangular, it's very long, I haven't blocked it properly because I don't really want it to be any bigger. And on each of the ends and the point down there, I'm going to attach a little pom-pom. It is 2 skeins, 1 skein of Kid Silk mohair and 1 skein of Lulu. And it's a fabulous pattern. There's like a little cable that you do, and it is a perfect holiday TV knit. I absolutely love it. It's so soft and fluffy, and all I've got to do, still got my shawl on my shoulders like Laura Ingalls, well, an old Laura Ingalls, and this is my other finished object. I think that's why my Ingalls hasn't been finished, because I just loved knitting this, and I can't even remember now. Why was I talking about this? Oh, it's because I was looking at this and it reminded me. So this is the leftover yarn, and as you can see, it's already on my weaving. I'm going to use this double, and I'm going to make the pom-poms, and then the rest of it I'm going to use on my loom to make some notion pouches. Oh, there you go. Just beautiful. I love it. So it's Lulu colourway with ballet slippers mohair. So that's another finished object, which if I edit this, I might actually manage to get it into my finished object section. I've actually dropped a stitch there, which was way back, but that is beautiful, and that is called the Pompadour shawl. I went down half a needle size because I wasn't happy with my tension, and I think it has come up smaller than it should have, but I'm really happy with it. So yeah, that's another finished object. Okay, I was transgressing. I've got a bag here that my sister made, but she doesn't want me to show on the podcast because she's got to make some up. Actually, I can show it because this is a bag my sister made. Isn't it amazing? And Karen from Beautiful Knitters is actually stocking these. And once my sister's building up her stock. She's very talented, and she gifted this for me. Isn't it gorgeous? So me. I'll put her shop details on here now. She's gonna hate me because she's not ready at the moment. She needs to get the stock built up. But these are online in Beautiful Knitters if you wanted to purchase them, but I got gifted this, so I'm very lucky. Right, I'm jumping around everywhere. That is all my knitting. That is everything that I've been doing. I did buy some, when I was at Beautiful Knitters, I did buy some crochet cotton, and I've actually been making, my daughters don't watch this podcast, so I'm sure I can say it. I've been making some facial scrubs for taking off makeup. And I just made this pattern up. I know there's a lot of patterns around. I can't remember how I did it now, but I've just been making some facial scrubs for taking off makeup. So that's some crochet I've been doing. And I have to say, for those of you that don't know, I suffer with psoriatic arthritis. You might be able to see my wobbly fingers. And a year or so ago, I couldn't crochet. It was too much on my wrists. So 14 months ago I went onto a plant-based diet, so I'm totally vegan now, and it's for me, and I'm not offering any medical advice, it's been a game changer for my arthritis. I personally don't take any arthritic medication. I didn't like it, I didn't like what it was doing to my body. I take turmeric, I take, and I'm plant-based. And the amazing thing is now I've been able to pick up my crochet hook, and I can crochet, and my wrists have gone down. My hands are still scarred from the damage it did before I went plant-based. So that's just me personally, Vicky McIntosh. But you know, I can do my yoga, I've got flexibility back in my arms, this is testament. I'm very proud of the fact that I can do my... Hello, I'm back again. My camera, I need to get some more charge. I've got 2 bars left, so I've been running up and down trying to edit this as well as record it. So I've just looked back. What I was saying about my psoriatic arthritis and being plant-based, please, this is what works for me. I'm not giving any medical advice to anybody. It's just something that I have discovered works for me by being plant-based and coming off my medication. I'm not advising anyone to do it. That's all I just wanted to say on that. It just works for me. So I've been doing, let's get on to sewing, because I have been purchasing and I have bought some stuff, which I went to Merchant and Mills with my husband down in Rye, and I don't know if you've ever been there, but it was amazing. I'm going to put some photos in now of Rye because it's just so beautiful. And Merchant and Mills is a product of patterns that I absolutely love. And I actually managed to make a trapeze, I don't know if it's trapezium or trapezius. I bought the material from Merchant Mills, and what I love is when you go into the shop, they've got samples there, and because I always think I'm bigger than I am, I've made the Canva dress before, and I've made a size 16 and a size 18, and they've always been far too big. But I tried on the sample in there of a 14, and especially for this dress, I would definitely recommend looking at the finished garment size. It's dusky pink, obviously, because it's my favourite colour. This is a fabulous pattern. You can make it as a sleeveless dress, you can make it as a sleeveless top. It has buttons down the back. It's really versatile. So I made this for my daughter's graduation when she got her master's degree, and it's in linen. I just absolutely love it. And they actually do a retreat there that I would love to go on, because I'd like to do that pattern with the buttons down the back, but I'm literally scared stiff about my making buttonholes, like finishing the garment, making buttonholes, and then it all goes terribly wrong. So that's one of the projects I've made. I've also bought, I'm just having a look to see if I can find the patterns. I've also bought the factory dress. I don't really keep up with the current fashions at my age. I'm nearly 56. I've got my own style, but I do know that this year it's all about what they call country grunge. So it's like boots and floral dresses, and I just think I've got this vision in my head of the factory dress with I've got some like Doc Martens with some thick tights for the winter. I just think it's going to look absolutely fab. So I'd like to make the factory dress from my Merchant Mills, but I haven't got round to cutting it out or anything else. So that's one of the things I want to do. The other thing is I went to the quilt room, which is our local quilt room in Dorking. It's just moved to Bear Green. And I'm going to put some footage at the end of this podcast of the quilt that I made, which was Block of the Month with the quilt room. And it was Cottage to Castle. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm really rushing this now because I've been upstairs and I can see the bars on the battery. So just take a breath, Vicky. Anyway, I've been looking, I want to do, I would like to do some project bags with some colours. And I've done quite a lot of Pride and Prejudice colours, but as some of you may know, I need to do a Mr. Darcy colourway. And Mr. Darcy has to be colours that are going to complement Miss Elizabeth Bennet. Anyway, I went into the quilt room and I saw this range of materials, and I just thought, do you know what? I'm going to do this colourway for Mr. Darcy. And I bought these beautiful, beautiful, let me show you individually. That blue is just like Mr. Bingley. I don't want to unwrap it. But the whole range is greys, blues, whites, and dark grey, almost graphite. And it's not a colour that I ever dye with, but when I saw these all together, I just had to have them. So I'm going to be making this one especially, which when you look at it, you're going to say, that's not you, Vicky, but there's something about it. It's very folksy. A mustard, which I know that Claire Williams, who is Indie Links on Instagram, is going to love. This one. So they're going to form the colours for my Mr. Darcy colourway, I think. And I've got another one of that blue. So I bought those, and like I said, I've suddenly realised, I've talked about how busy I've been, and I've realised that since I last spoke to you, I have been on holiday. I've been to Lanzarote on holiday with my daughter and my grandchildren. I have been doing the Pride and Prejudice and the Zombie mini skein sets, in addition to sock clubs. So it's been really, 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 really busy, and I haven't had chance to actually sit down and get some proper sewing done. I've done a few notion cases. I took them to Yarndale, and I will be doing some more for the end of October shop update. So sewing wise, nothing to show you in progress. However, there are lots of acquisitions that will become work in progresses. And from You, Me and Mabel, I bought this beautiful advent calendar. And I'm going to be doing a Christmas, I'm going to be doing the December Vlogmas, I've decided. And you'll see that I absolutely love Christmas, and my living room is always in silver and white and cream, and I just thought if I made this advent calendar up, it's going to blend beautifully. You get such a lot. It's got some backing of this, and I'm going to make it up for my grandchildren so that they can have 2 treats in there, so when they come round they can take that. I also have a desire, and I saw this on the Grocery Girls the other day, Tracy was talking about quilting, and my other love is I love quilting. When I went to the craft room, I really want to make another quilt, and they featured, it's a 1 jelly roll, and it's called the Friendship Braid. And that's Pam and Nikki. And I'm going to make this up. So when I've done the advents and time, maybe even make it over Christmas, I'm going to do another quilt. I have to tell you, it was funny. I went into the quilt room and I've made a quilt for my daughters each. And my daughter Sam, my middle child, Sam, had moved and had moved again. And I saw the quilt that I'd made her in the quilt room. And I had to phone her and say, Sam, where's that quilt? I just got really panicky about it. But she's got it and it's on her bed and it looks fabulous. So yes, sewing wise, I'm going to be making a quilt. I'm going to be making some project bags. I haven't had a lot of time for weaving. So that's about it. I've now got to tidy up. I can't even show you what I've got to tidy up, and I'm sure other podcasters are the same. But I need to tidy up, I need to get some housework done, and I'm going over, like I say, to babysit for my grandchildren, and I'm going to be staying the night and taking them to nursery tomorrow, and then picking them up from nursery tomorrow night. So tomorrow is a dye day. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. I hope it hasn't been too rambly. I'm not going to say that this is going to be, I'm going to do another one in 4 weeks, because I tend to say things and then I hate breaking promises. But thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been lovely catching up with you. I hope you've enjoyed what I've shared, and please like or subscribe to the channel. If you're new, and I should have said this at the beginning, welcome. Thank you very much for watching. If you're returning, lovely to see you. But please like and subscribe, because that means that I get thrown into the path of other people who might be interested in knitting podcasts. I sound like Mrs. Bennet when she says about the girls will be thrown into the path of richer husbands, and I've completely gone off track now. So I'm going to sign off. It's about 12:30. My husband's just got back from food shopping. He's actually cooking dinner today, so I'm very excited. We're having a cauliflower, potato and mushroom curry, and we'll speak soon. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye.